Today, we're going to talk about why the UK is the next logical progression for most US e-commerce businesses. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so let's talk about the UK real quick and why this small island in the North Sea is a potential could be potentially interesting to you lot as e-commerce business owners. Okay, so the UK in terms of GDP is at roughly $3.4 trillion, so slightly smaller than the state of California. There are about 70 million people living here on this island. There are certain areas in London, in most cases, the cost of living isn't necessarily that high. We do like to complain and say, yes, things are expensive, but by and large, things generally aren't that expensive. There is a decent infrastructure in the UK, there's good digital infrastructure in the UK, there is a health system, so there are a lot of things that are taken care of. The average salary in the UK is somewhere between $40,000 to $41,000 per year. So what does that mean? That means that Brits generally have a lot of disposable income at hand. And, well, let's face it, it's not the biggest place. There are 70 million people living here. It's roughly the size of Michigan. And couple that with not great weather, not great food, we always seem to find money to go on holiday and to buy things, kind of like retail therapy in a way. And this is why this is quite interesting for US e-commerce business owners as well. Brits actually like to buy American products. We generally look to America for innovation. The UK doesn't really have much of a manufacturing base anymore. We've seemed to have shipped and outsourced a lot of the manufacturing to the US. Obviously, products are made in the US, some of them made in China or wherever, but we look to American brands for innovation and in general. So there is a certain prestige in the UK if you've got something that's American. There's a lot of reasons behind this. You know, there's obviously the Made in America quality factor behind it. The language barrier, well, not barrier, but the ease of language. Obviously, we both share the same language. Makes it easy for us to communicate. Influence in the UK, like a lot of US films, movies, stars, brands. And there is a study done by the Oxford University that demonstrates that come 2030, Brits will spend roughly 50% of their disposable income on US goods. There was a study done by the University of Oxford that demonstrated that come 2030, Brits will spend up to 50% of their disposable income on US goods. So if they're not going to spend it on your brand, they're spending it with your competitor. Now, also don't confuse the UK with Europe. Obviously, it's very close, and the UK was part of Europe before Brexit. Even before that time, Europe had its own market. They seemed to buy a lot of French and German products, as opposed to buying outside. Whereas in the UK, we do like to look at the US for quality products. We don't generally buy German brands. We don't generally buy French brands. We like to buy American products. Okay, so besides the economic factors and the fact that Brits like to buy American products, the UK is actually very easy to do business in. And the reason behind that is because the government has made the taxation system, the regulatory environment, all the compliance systems easy to navigate for business. It's designed to facilitate growth. That's why a lot of US brands like Nike, Apple, they have UK entities set up to help them grow and benefit from the UK system. Now, couple that with a strong digital infrastructure and a small surface area which is pretty accessible for transport. Like you can get next day delivery pretty much anywhere in the UK, except probably the remote islands in the north of Scotland. But by and large, it's very, very easy to get products shipped around the UK and people want to buy them. So for e-commerce, this is just absolutely perfect. A lot of people in the UK buy things online, and this is where your brand and your business can really shine in the UK. What does this mean for you as an e-commerce business owner? Now, if you have a brand in the US that is established, you've got recurring clients, you've got a decent product market fit, and you are open to expansion, then the UK could be the next sweet spot for you, where you can make decent returns very, very quickly, spending a lot of money. The question is, how do you go about this? Well, first off, you can go through a distributor, depending on your product. You can go FBA, Amazon FBA, which is obviously very popular right now. Or you could go direct to consumer and become a transatlantic brand. Now, there are advantages and there are disadvantages to all of these, and it's kind of up to you to find out which one is the best fit for you. I'll talk about each of these different ways in another video. There are no right or wrong ways. What is a transatlantic brand? A transatlantic brand is a brand that has a foothold in the mighty US market and also in the prestigious UK market. This means that there's diversified sales channels coming from both sides of the Atlantic, and you're now an international brand. It isn't for everyone. This is only for brands who have established proof of concept. You've got repeating clients, a customer base that is loyal, essentially a decent product market fit. And not necessarily a reseller as well. It's got to be your brand. If you're reselling other people's brands, you're a distributor, you're a reseller. This is for own brands only. If you're potentially interested in getting your US e-commerce brand into the UK, then my team have a 3-pillar system to help you do that. First pillar is entity creation, where we set up your UK LTD and we basically make sure that you're compliant with UK regulation, but this helps you offset tax, helps you benefit from the UK system to grow. The second is sales and marketing, where we expose your brand to UK consumers using British humor, using British influencers, etc., to get Brits on your side and selling, and buying into your brand and your idea. And third is third-party logistics and distribution. So basically, once you've got your entity created, you're selling, now we get your product out to consumers with speedy delivery, storage, warehousing, and all the good works to make sure that your brand is fully established in the UK. Now, if that's something that is interesting to you and you'd be interested in expanding your brand into the UK, then click on the link in the description below of this video and have a chat with me, and I'll see if we can help you.